So I picked this azalea up from a nursery, a local nursery. It was a good deal. I usually don't buy azaleas of this size, but this one I couldn't pass on. They're a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it because you know, this one has a very thick trunk. Azaleas are slow growing, and so it's hard to find a specimen that has a good trunk. You know, this one has a big, thick trunk, and I think it would be a good, has good potential to be a good bonsai. So now it's March 2011, and you know, it's flowering already. So I'm not gonna do anything to it. I'm gonna enjoy the flower for a couple of months, and once the flower fades, then I can try to train it and trim it and try to make it into a nice bonsai. So the name of this azalea is Azalea Fuchsia. It's nice. Since I'm not gonna do anything to it now, I won't do too much. You know, oh, by the way, the flower size is very good. It's not too big, not too small. It's late March now. This azalea is in full bloom. It's just so pretty. Look at it. It's just so. I'm just so happy that I got this plant. So beautiful. So while we're waiting for the plant to finish the bloom to start doing, you know, repotting, what you have to keep doing is whenever there's some flower that are dead, you should just snip it out. You know, otherwise they will start forming seeds and take away the energy from the tree. So, you know, like these are just flowers that are died. Just remove them to prevent the seed pods from forming. You know. Okay, now it's mid-April, and you can see that the flowers have faded. In fact, I was kind of wrong. I thought I could enjoy the flower until the end of April or early May, but unfortunately, the weather has been kind of wet lately. It rained a lot, actually. This is unusual in Northern California that this happened in April. But this is what happened. I hope it's nothing to do with the climate change. So it actually, you know, I have to work on this now. So I've been pinching off the flower, the old flowers with my fingers as they were dying. But now there are so many of them, I'm gonna just use scissors to prune them. You know, I'm just gonna remove all the dead flowers. You notice some of the flower die and new growths already start to popping out. This is a good sign. The plant is healthy. But it's also unfortunate for the plant because those new growths, I might not keep them. So the plant just wasted energy making those new growths. That's why it's important to repot them and do the heavy pruning and repot them as soon as the flowers are gone. So while I am removing the flowers, I will also watch for any kind of branch that I might not need. I just cut it off right then, you know. So I don't have to do this process twice, you know. So the branches can also be, the branches that you cut can also be used for cuttings later and try to propagate more. For example, for this particular branch, you know, there's some, I removed the flowers, and you will see that there is already some new growth. You know, what do you do with this? You don't really need it. For this branch, I probably will cut shorter this branch, so I don't really need that. I can just remove it, you know. But in some places, you might want to keep those. In some branches, depending how you want to design the bonsai, in some places you can keep those, so you won't go to waste. Okay, with half of the flowers removed, I can see more of the structure now of the plant. And you know, I will stop here now because these branches I might just remove them all at once. So there's really no need to remove all the flowers now. It's time now to decide on the shape on the shape of this bonsai. So I've determined this to be the front for now of the bonsai. I really like the trunk here, and this first branch here, I really like it. I also want to take a look at the root. You know, there's a lot of dead leaves here. You can start removing them. You can see the root base. This one doesn't have any. I mean, it has a nice one, but nothing too interesting. Nothing that made me go wow. So no, I fell in love with this plant as soon as I saw it. You can say love at the first sight. But also my love is not blind. I do recognize this plant also has some defects. I can show you one here in this angle. This side branch is getting kind of big, and it is making the trunk here a little bit thicker than it should. So this is some defect that we need to think of, either how to cover it or how to repair it in the future. So on the lower part now we're thinking of styling. So it'll probably be a nice trunk here. It's going to be divided in two major branches. That's what I'm thinking. And maybe I'll keep some low branch here. But now what we're going to do is start removing some of the lower branches that for sure we don't need. Of course, the first branch is this major one here. Is kind of crossing over the other side and is sticking out from here, so this one has to go. Okay, we have a clear view now. We can start removing the little branches here that we don't need, just to trying to get a more clear view of the trunk. Now we apply the common knowledge we know about pruning. You know, any branches growing downwards, you cut it off. Any branches going upwards, you cut it off. Any branches that are dead, removed. These are just dead branches. You can tell they're really fragile and dry. So, for example, this one in particular is just growing straight up. So I'm just going to remove it now. Azalea branches are a little bit more brittle. I don't know how to say it, more crunchy, more fragile. So you want to be careful when you are moving between branches and cutting. Make sure you don't break some of them accidentally. Sometimes you can see a lot of branches coming out from the same point, such as this one, and doesn't look very nice. So you want to remove those, just leaving, you know, two. In this case, you know, of course, the one pointing out are the ones that I'm going to remove. Same thing in this case. There's a lot of branches coming out from this point, and I'm just going to remove this one that's going straight up. There's just a lot of little twigs and dead branches inside, so I'm just going to clean those up. This is another case where you have a lot of trunks coming out. In this case, I'm actually going to remove the thicker one and keep the finer ones. I think because at this height of the tree, you want the finer branches and not the thick branches. So that's why I choose to cut the thicker one. Okay, this is how the plant looked like after my first round of pruning. Took about 20-30 minutes. Truly enjoyed that, cutting off all the dead branches or the branches that are growing on the wrong directions. Now it's time to really seriously think about the style. A couple of branches I don't think I would need. This big one here, and also this one in the back, but I'm not quite sure yet, so I'm going to keep those. So again, this is going to be some kind of upright, informal, with two major branches going upwards. So of course this will be the first side branch. The first side branch, I probably need to shorten all the branches that are pointing upward. Just make them short, so they will grow some kind of like a foliage pad. That's what I'm going to do. And then later on, moving up the tree, a lot of branches here are too tall, so I'm going to cut them short just to make the plant shorter for now, because it's going to grow and it's going to grow taller. So for this heavy pruning, I'm going to probably cut all the plants, anything exceeding this height, just make everything shorter. So that's going to be my next step, my second phase of pruning.